Hello friends. In this lecture we are going to study a poem Let Me Not to the Marriage, written by William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was dramatist, actor, man of the theatre and poet. He baptized in Holy Trinity Church at Stratford-upon-Avon on 26th of April 1564. His birth is traditionally celebrated on 23rd of April, which is also known to have been the date of his death. He died on 23rd of April 1616. He is often called England's national poet and Bard of Avon. He wrote 38 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 long narrative poems. Some remarkable plays are Julius Caesar, Macbeth, Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, and Romeo and Juliet. The poem which we are going to study is a sonnet. Before going further, first we understand what is meant by sonnet. A sonnet is a 14 lines poem with a fixed rhyme scheme. It covers 3 quatrains followed by a final couplet. Quatrains is the stanza of 4 lines and couplet is a stanza of 2 lines. So the structure of the sonnet form is 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 2. I hope it is clear to you all. Now we will see the summary of the poem Let Me Not to the Marriage. This sonnet attempts to define love by telling both what it is and what it is not. He also claiming that it stays constant even though people and circumstances may change. Love never dies, even when someone tries to destroy it. Rather than being something that comes and goes, love is eternal and unchanging, so that the poet compares it to the North Star, which never moves in the sky and guides lost ships home. This is one of the most famous poems in the entire sequence. The definition of love that is provides among the most often quoted in the poetic canon. Especially, this sonnet presents the extreme ideal of romantic love. It never changes, it never fades, it outlasts death and admits no flaw. What is more, it insists that this ideal is the only love that can be called true love. If love is mortal, changing, or impermanent, the speaker writes, then no man ever loved. If we are thinking with another direction, love is not at the big and call for time. Mortality is not an issue for true love, which doesn't fade even when youth and beauty disappear. Love doesn't change as the days go by. Rather, it remains strong until the lover's dying day. Finally, the poet stakes his own reputation on his definition, boldly claiming that if anyone can prove him wrong, he will eat his words. That is to say, if this idea of love turns out to be wrong, then he will take back everything he wrote and it will be as though it never existed. We will see analysis of the poem line by line. First quatrain. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. This poem opens with one of the most famous lines ever: "Let me not to the marriage of two minds admit impediments." Sure, it sounds nice, but what does it mean? Is he talking about real marriage? If so, who is getting married? What impediments? Yes, there are a lot of questions just in this one declaration. But relax, I will take you through it. First of all, the poem hints to marriage and to the actual marriage ceremony, which remains basically unchanged. However, don't get all crazy and start throwing rice or flowers. This poem is not actually talking about a real marriage. The marriage of true minds is a metaphor for true love. We are not sure if this refers to specifically to platonic love or sexual love. Instead, we are intended to see it as a capital L, ideal and perfect love. Please note that the poet uses the word minds instead of anything more like hearts or bodies. This is to let us know that this perfect love is the partnership of two thinkings, willing individuals who are not simply driven by emotions and hormones. Line third and fourth, which alters when it alteration finds or bends with the remover to remove. Here we see love defines by what it is not. The repetition here is very significant and very confusing to puzzle out. Let's tackle first phrase. It seems that real love doesn't change or alter under different circumstances. That is to say, even if the lovers themselves change or if the world around them does, true love remains constant. The doubled alter and alteration pairing reminds us of what a less worthy sentiment, which we might think of as not love, is like it's changeable, fickle, and all too easily altered. So, what about the next phrase? What does all that? Bends with the remover to remove. Basically, it makes the above point even more strongly, claiming that even when someone tries to remove affection, a real love doesn't give up and disappear. Love will always survive. Second quatrain. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose words unknown, although his height be taken. Now that we have seen what love is not, we learn what the poet thinks love is. In these first two lines, he brings some images into the mix as storm and sheep, etc. In first line, he dramatically changes the tone with "oh no" to signals this shift from negative to positive and immediately launches into an affirmation of love's quality. It is, as he says, an ever fixed mark that easily enough It just means a marker that never moves. In second line, he emphasizes his steady, solid quality, saying that tempest, that is stormy weather, but he is never disturbed. Line third discovers that the ever fixed mark that come up in this line is a star, not just any old star, but the north star, the only one that never changes position in the night sky. This refers to old fashioned navigational knowledge. Before the days of GPS and even reliable maps, sailors would chart their location in the ocean based on the position of the stars. Last line of this quatrain also refers to these astronomical ideas. In the Queen Elizabethan period, nobody knew what stars were made of, even though mariners did knew the location of stars in the sky or their height. Now we will discuss about third quatrain. Love is not times full, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the age of doom. The above lines tells us that love is not times full. That is to say that love is not a court jester that panders to the will of time, in spite of the fact that rosy lips and cheeks of the loved ones one may fade as they age. These last two lines of quatrain third sums up the point of the whole poem. It explains that love doesn't change over time. It endures the passing of time, which depicted as passing of brief and lasts until the age of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never write, nor no man ever loved. The final two lines of the sonnet provides a dramatic and a quite bold closing statement. The first line of the couplet used legalistic language to basically say if these ideas are wrong and anyone can prove that I am incorrect. The line purges something of the changes to readers. Do any of you have proof that he is wrong? The final line resolves this challenge through a somewhat complicated twist by saying that the poet has never written anything and that nobody has ever really been in love before if love actually turns out to be less than eternal. The poem's truth immediately becomes impossible to dispute.